We're done talking about charters in Kentucky. Ready to move on.
Kentucky's highest court strikes down charter school funding, but there could still be a path forward for this type of education. Public school supporters are celebrating the Supreme Court's decision, but it could be short-lived. Wave News reporter Meredith Lee has our update tonight.
Hey, Brian, charter schools in Kentucky has been a subject heavily debated in the legislature for years. And while this state Supreme Court ruling means that public education has won this battle, new legislation introduced in the House means it's not the end of the war. It's been a long battle for public schools.
It was a huge sigh of relief. We've all kind of been holding our breath for the last several years, hoping that this would be the decision.
The Kentucky Supreme Court issuing its ruling on a law that would have allowed public funding to go toward charter schools. The measure became law in 2022 when the Senate overruled Governor Beshear's veto. But the Commonwealth's highest court declared the law unconstitutional Thursday. The Kentucky Educators Association says the final decision marks a victory for public education.
We're going to continue to focus on supporting our public schools and fully funding our public schools.
But the battle doesn't mark the end of the push for parent choice. Just hours after the ruling, a group of state Republican lawmakers filed House Bill 1, which could allow Kentucky to join a federal school choice program created by the Trump administration's Big Beautiful Bill. Right now, there aren't any charter schools in the Commonwealth due to a lack of available funding. But House Bill 1 could create a path forward to change that.
Public schools serve everyone. We take every kid that walks through the door and provides them with a quality education. That's not the case in charters. Charters can pick and choose.
The KEA says they're hoping to move on and work alongside lawmakers to improve funding and resources for all of Kentucky's students.
Anytime that public education is attacked, we're going to stand up and fight back against it. I believe that. I believe that the majority party does want what's best for kids, but what they need to be doing is listening to the educators.
House Bill 1 is being reviewed in committee sponsored by a number of legislators, including State Representative Jason Nemeth. We've reached out to his office, but are still waiting on his response. Meredith Lee, Wave News.